Rockingham Dragway for the Rudy's Diesel Truck Jam. It's the 10th year for the anniversary. Here, have a good time. My name's Austin Denny. Been doing this about 10 years now.
We saw this truck a couple years ago. Then it went away for a little while. This is the first time racing it, right? Has it made passes down a track before this? Or
that video we took was 2 years ago. It got unveiled at UCC. We thrashed on it and got close, and then it had to get mutinied so we can keep Pro Street points racing. So I had to yank it all apart and steal the engine out of it. And it was finally just time this winter. I put my foot down and said, all right, we're going pro mod racing. Let's get this thing done and figured out. And first time it's been to the track, and it's been a giant learning curve so far. But we're making progress in the right way.
So run me through the setup. I see a big ass turbo. I see not a Cummins, so.
It's a 6-liter Power Stroke built by Warren Diesel Injection. Has Warren Diesel Injection injectors in it. We're fighting some turbo issues currently. It has a Garrett on it. We're going to be on a bullseye. No time. I had a 98mm bullseye on it, and the truck was fighting to spool that, so we said let's put a smaller one in that Nathaniel over at Rudy's Diesel lent us for the weekend. So currently it's got an 88 GT55 on the front of it, or PWR, air box. Ice box basically for the intercooler. Got a Turbo 400 from Rossler Transmissions with a Neil Chance converter in it. All the goodies to go fast.
How did you get to this point with this? I mean, this has obviously been years in the making. What drove you to want to have a truck like this?
I've raced 670, I raced 590, I raced Pro Street. The next logical progression was go pro mod racing. Obviously, you know, I work as a diesel mechanic all day. I did not have the money to build a pro mod chassis and everything. It just so happened that Jesse Warren approached me and said, you know, like, let's go faster. I built this chassis. I'm basically just going to hand you the keys to it and go racing. And I said, okay. He handed me a chassis, and I naturally went through and changed every single thing on it.
We're in an oddball world of diesel racing, but you're an even more oddball where most folks would just go with a Cummins and go that path. You've always been a different path. What is that like for you, and why?
Doing the 6-liter thing with Huey injection, a lot of people look at you weird. Everybody asks why not go Cummins, and two things really. I like being different, and truthfully, financially, without the help of Warren Diesel and the people that do sponsor us in this small little niche of an industry that I'm in, I don't know if I'd be able to race at this level. Just the money, it takes a lot to do this. I mean, talking $300,000-$400,000 truck right here. It takes me a couple years to make that for sure. Not counting the logistics of getting to and from races. So it's hard. You don't have a lot of people to lean on. Like, I have a problem. It's not like I can walk to around the trailer here to one of the other guys, but man, I had this issue. What do you think? If I go up and tell people we're having oil temp problems, they're gonna look at me like goofy. Literally, most people know oil temp sensor controls most of the fueling on a 6-liter based on temperature. So I lean on Nathaniel a lot. Nathaniel and Zach Pierce, when they're here, they're the only other Power Stroke guys really at this level, and they're 6'4" guys with no tech at that. So even them, they're kind of like, well, you need to figure this out and do this. I'm like, all right. You know, it's tough, but I like being different, and why make everything easy? Why go buy a Cummins when everybody just says, here's your recipe to go racing? To most people, that's fun. I like the challenge of doing this, and these things do succeed, and 6-liters do win. Everybody look at you a little funny, and they're like, shit, just got my ass beat by a Power Stroke. That Shied win 2 years ago really kept driving things. It was lit a fire, and it proved my point that 6-liters can compete and they can win, and we're gonna keep pushing the platform, and eventually we'll catch up.
You mentioned about, you know, like some of the sponsors you got. What's been your relationship with Hot Shot Secret, and how has that kind of progressed over the years?
Well, Hot Shot Secret, you know, the company started out with 6-liter stuff. They made the Stiction Eliminator for 6-liters, and I think that was like one of the first products they ever came out with. 4 years ago, Kyle saw me set the Power Stroke, or the 6-liter record at, I don't know, it might have been 5 years ago. The COVID races at Wagler is when Kyle approached me, and it started out actually not even with engine oil. It started out with transmission fluid because we were running a 5R at that time, and it would get to like 220 degrees at the end of a pass. Angry. And Kyle said, just change the fluid to our nano shift and let's see what it does. And magically, like, we'd only get to the end of the track and it'd be 180 and have no rhyme or reason why. The only thing changed was the fluid. So it started out with that, and now it's progressed. Both trucks, the Pro Street that still will be out, and this one, it started out now. The engine has all Hot Shots fluid in it. We're running Hot Shots race fuel now. The gear oil has Hot Shots Secret in it, and so is the transmission. And that's the same case for the Pro Street truck and the Pro Mod. And any other vehicle we drive for that. The tow vehicle, the 6.7, my Harley even, all of it runs Hot Shot Secret oil.
Brett Markham. We are at Rockingham, Dragway for the Rudy's spring event. First one of the year. We're going to try and run some 570 passes.
Gotcha. So 570. So that's a new change for this year. You know, classes got shuffled up, mixed up a little bit. As somebody who is, I would almost say dominated in 590. How do you feel about the change that now?
We were a little against it at first, just because I don't know. Like you said, you get kind of set in your ways, and now nobody likes change. But no, either way, I mean, we'd been quicker than 590s, and so just some minor adjustments, and I know we'll be fine. We're struggling a little bit yesterday. Hopefully we got that behind us and we'll do a little bit better today. But like I said, at the end of the day, it got changed, and we'll adapt and overcome. So
Talking about having a little bit of trouble yesterday, part of it is first race of the year. You know what I mean? It just, but you've also made some changes to the truck too. You got some upgrades.
Yeah, this winter I sent it to Cody Fisher, 1X Precision. He did a rack and pinion. He did a wishbone in the front, did a steering column, and then new coilovers all the way around. So and he lowered it, I think, about 3-4 inches overall. So making bar adjustments, getting the new coilover stuff figured out. Like I said, we usually have the power pretty dialed in. Ben does a really good job on that. Just more so getting the truck to kind of not bounce and go down the track straight. So
for those who don't know, run me through the setup again.
The engine is a Freedom Racing engine, 6.7 board 40 over. So they're 6.8 kind of. I think they use that quite a bit. That setup, it works really well. It's got a Waggler competition aluminum head on it, S&S. They do all our fuel stuff. We got 450% over injectors, and then their single 14 mil with their SP 3000 pump, 91 millimeter Garrett charger, and then a Banghart Performance. They build the 48 in it, trans. So we're still 849 ECM, and then Race Pack is kind of our for our logging and everything. So like I said, still a lot of guys are switching to Motec and stuff like that, and we'd like to maybe make that switch at some point, but the 849 stuff's worked really good for us in the past, and just baby steps gives us stuff to look forward to.
And you got a good handle on it too. It's
Yeah.
it's hard when you're racing an index class where it really means a lot to be right on the money.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to switch and be
Yeah.
like, I don't know, you know what I mean?
Yep, and that's kind of where we were at, like at the end of last year. We've had a lot of good success the last few years in 590, and we didn't really make the suspension and chassis changes based on just the time changing. It was more so something that's kind of been, we've kind of just got by with what we had. You know, we've kind of always had a bounce, and it always kind of shook the front tire with the tie rod ends. And I just, no better time than just to get it done while we're making some other changes too. So it wasn't necessarily the changes were for the time change. It's just stuff that needed to be done. So
I mean, you've got some great support. You got great people in your corner. Work with a lot of great companies. How'd you get started with Hot Shots, and how is that relationship kind of going?
I would say I probably been with Hot Shots since 2019, I would say. Originally, Freedom was big with like AMSOIL stuff, and I know the first, originally we had AMSOIL like in our engine. Kyle and all the Hot Shots guys were at every single race, so it kind of made sense. They were always helping everybody, and even though we didn't have Hot Shots at the time, we refreshed the engine. We thought, well, maybe we'll make a change. We were already had kind of built a relationship with Kyle. He's like, guys, whatever you need, we'll take care of you. So that's what he did. He gave us a list of, gear oil, transmission fluid, engine oil. We just made the full jump. So he hooked us all up. That was probably 2019, and we've never looked back since. Since then, we opened our shop, Hard Knocks Diesel, and same thing followed suit there. We just buy everything, coolant, oils. We use nothing, other than them at the shop, and then same thing with the racing. Great product, and then obviously the support at the track, and anytime you need them. I mean, if I even need stuff through the shop and it's late or really early, I can text Kyle and he gets me dialed right in. So yeah, I think that's kind of how it all came about. We were just looking for a change. The change, I guess, was just right in front of us the whole time and treating us good. So we just made the jump, and it's been great.
2025, 10-year anniversary of ODSS. What is your goal for the mustache?
Boy, I don't know. My buddy Nate, he gets married next week, and I kind of promised my wife I would trim it after his wedding. So I might trim it up a little bit, and it also depends what Mitchell does too, though. Me and Mitchell are kind of at a mustache battle. He's probably got better genetics for the mustache than me, but I got the longevity. I've really been working on it. So
You put the time in.
yeah, I put the time in. I think his is just more natural. Mine's a lot of hard work and a lot of time.
579 with a 4.
I just realized there's a time board on the.
To 111 miles an hour. Didn't even rev out to the shift.
My name is Chris Naldine. I'm from Sudlersville, Maryland, and I am driving a '06 Ram that has been 6.7 swapped to a D&J Performance Enforcer.
Is this like a truck that you've had for a long time, or?
I think I've had it about 4 years now. I'm the third owner of the truck, and this is the first setup it's had in it under my owning.
What sparked the interest? What made you say like, hey, I want to go fast in a diesel truck?
Well, originally, I just wanted to build like a 1,000 horsepower truck that I could drive on the street, do a little bit of towing, and then through some deals that I found and just by happenstance, it just snowballed out of control.
So what are you racing out here at ODSS?
Racing in 670 and ET.
I mean, this thing's a full street truck, right? Like
Yes, driven on the street, raced at the track.
It's got full interior. I mean, the whole thing's there.
Minus the back seat, yeah. Which the roll bar adds that weight back, so it's all good.
So run us through a little bit. What's the engine combination, the turbos? What do you got going on?
So it's an Enforcer built by D&J Precision, bought as a long block. Turbos are a Garrett 88 millimeter and a FIS 110. The fuel is all Exergy, dual 14 millimeter pumps, and 400% over injectors. The transmission is a 48 RE built by Chris Gelbaugh. Yeah, Chris Gelbaugh with CG Diesel Performance and Cole Sheehan with TRM Diesel were 90% of this thought process.
I mean, with hearing that compound setup, the fuel setup, everything, I would think that you could probably go faster than 670.
Yeah, it's made, close to 1,800 horsepower on fuel only, and I'm racing at 900. So yeah, it could go a lot faster than 670.
It's definitely capable, but the flip side is if you leave it there and run 670, you can have a lot of fun for a long time.
Yeah. We'll go for a 670 points championship with the Outlaw Diesel Super Series, and then we'll see where we go after that.
What has been your favorite part of building this truck, racing this truck? Like, what's been special to you?
Without a doubt, it's the family I've met at ODSS. Everyone's been so welcoming, and it was 100 times better than I anticipated.
Is there any more stuff that you're like, I'd really like to get to this one day? Or
I think eventually I'll swap it over to single and do some singles elite races and maybe a little bit of no prep, but nothing written in stone yet.
What's been your experience with the engine for however long you've had it?
Customer support's been phenomenal, next to no issues. I have no complaints. I would buy another one in a heartbeat.
And I also saw you got a Hot Shot sticker on it back.
Love Hot Shots. I use their additives in this as well as my personal truck. Love Hot Shots. Nick Morris, who I met through ODSS, he's a multi-time 770 and ET champion, and did some explaining to me and sat me down, and I've been on the Hot Shots train ever since.
Is there anything that you've noticed about using their products versus any others? Or
So I had an event at, Wagler Motorsports Park 2 years ago. Made a terrible pass in comparison to what my truck normally does. I thought I had bad fuel. I put some of the, the R82, or put a splash of that in there, and just started snapping off times again like it was. So made some not good fuel, helped this truck out run like it normally does. I've never seen a flip like that before. So
now, if people want to find out, more information, or they want to see more about this truck, how can they find you? Are you on the internet? Are you posting stuff?
All Day Naldine on TikTok and Instagram. Chris Naldine on Facebook. Anyone that has any questions, I'm willing to answer and help as much as I can.
I think that's a big thing too, is a lot of guys get to the point of like, how do I take it to the next level? How do I get to the next step? It really comes from asking people questions. And I think that this community as a whole is a lot more receptive and open to that kind of thing.
No chance I could be where I am now without all the people that helped me. And if I could help someone else advance from where they're at, I'd gladly do it, as well as anyone at ODSS. It's a big welcome and family.
Is there anybody that you want to give a special thanks to, or anybody that's helped you out along the way that you think deserves some recognition?
Nick Morris, Dylan Anstead, both of them are some Ohio guys. They pretty much coached me along to where I'm at now. Cole Sheehan with TRM Diesel, he's been the brain behind this. And then Chris Gelbaugh with CG Diesel Transmissions has helped me a lot. All those guys, I wouldn't be where I'm at without them. And I have nothing but good things to say about Chris Gelbaugh's 48. It takes a beating.
Hi, my name is Byron Klein. We're at Rockingham Dragway. We're running a 570 class today.
So give me a little bit of information about the truck. What is it? Kind of front to back it.
Started out as a 0460, regular cab long bed, and started with putting a 6.0 together for in this thing, and decided we're gonna need more power. Go, go, go! Yeah, it started out as a 04 6-liter. Decided that 6-liter is probably not going to stay together very long for the power that we wanted. So got a hold of Drew and the guys at D&J, and they set me up with an Enforcer. Took a rolling chassis out to Levon at Fire Punk. Put the engine in, plumbed it. Tim Barber originally built the 48 on it, and now Levon's got that under wraps as well for me. Go ran 17250 bolt together converter with their trans brake valve body. Seems to be working really well for us. Pretty consistent numbers on it. Started from the ground up with it, had the cab pulled off, media blasted the whole frame, and the video out in Rising Sun, Maryland, built the chassis for me, and then pretty much took Levon and the guys out there a pile of parts. Cody Fisher did all the piping, wiring, and plumbing on it. The thing rips.
And right now you're doing it fuel only?
Yeah, right now we're running fuel only. Once I get probably a Rosler behind this thing or some kind of TH400, we'll start playing with the nitrous a little more. But right now we've got her turned down, and she's making a consistent number, so it's doing well.
You had mentioned that something about like a first event, and you were like, "Oh, that's gonna cost me $100,000." Like, how'd you get into racing?
It was Rudy's down at Piedmont. I drove and met some guys I knew from powerstroke.org there, and it was like my first big diesel event, and I came back, told my buddy Matt, and I was like, dude, that just cost me $100,000, you know, because now I want to go fast like those guys, and I was wrong.
It costs a little more. What's been your driving factor for, you know, obviously wanting to go faster and wanting to push the limits? Like, you know, are you a competitive person? Do you have some goals?
Yeah, I mean, losing is not fun. So if we're going to go do this, let's go winning. That's what I always say. Whenever we're packing our shit up, we're not going racing. We want to go winning.
And you just won recently here.
Yeah, went down to Northeast Dragway in basically Hertford, North Carolina, to the Truck Wars event, and they've got a singles elite class, which is single turbo, no nitrous. That's right up my alley, and ran that class in their outlaw class, and ended up winning the singles elite class, and shook the tires pretty hard in the finals for outlaw. So it'd have been nice to bring home 2 trophies, but one and a little extra cash always works too.
What's your goal here with ODSS? Obviously they got the 570 class going. How are you doing with that?
Right now, sitting number 2 qualifier, went 574 yesterday.
Are you going to be like chasing the point series, or?
I have been debating it. We're definitely going to UCC. I think I've got a prior obligation for the Crossville race. We haven't been out to Shides yet at all, ever, so that's one that's definitely on our bucket list. I imagine if we make it to Shides, we'll definitely try to make the last race as well.
What advice would you give to somebody who, they see your truck, they're like, man, I want to do that. I don't even know where to begin.
Like, drugs might be cheaper, but it's definitely not a way to live your life. So if you're going to spend your money on something, this is definitely pretty fun. It all doesn't have to be done on day one, so just keep going. Just keep going. Breaks are going to happen, but you can fix it.
Now, what has been some of the highlights, you know, of life of racing this truck?
Honestly, meeting the people and coming to these races, and kind of, you know, it's like a second family. You come to the track and see all your friends that are from all over, you know, I mean, primarily East Coast, but country as well. Down there at that first event at Rudy's, dude, met some really cool guys, and still racing with a lot of them to this day. Not thinking about work for a couple of days is always fun. Just getting out and being able to have let loose. Let go of that button too.
Got any crazy stories about this thing, or is there anything that's you know, has it ever made you shit your pants, or?
Definitely the first couple times I pulled this thing out of the trailer, and we were learning the truck, going over stuff. We had nitrous lines, jets in backwards for first kit and spool jets, so we've definitely shot some fireballs out of that exhaust pipe, and that'll pucker you up a little bit whenever you're not expecting it, that's for sure.
the sign, the 5 of the 5, pitch down, the 5 is 1 of the line. They're just going to take the tree and then back out of there. I don't know if that was the original intent anyway. I kind of think not, given that they did the burnout.
I'm Ryan Reiser, out of a 2012 Power Stroke 6.7 in the 570 index class in ODSS. So it's just a 6.7 Power Stroke with Carrillo rods, some ported heads, a precision turbo, 83 millimeter, S&S fuel, DCR in the valley, CP3 out front, 200 overs, and Motec control in it all. It's a 4R100. Factory axles, front and rear. We obviously made the truck lighter. The only thing fiberglass is the hood, Lexan windows, and gutted it and seen how light we could get it forward.
It's a very good looking truck.
Thank you.
It looks very,
Thank you.
very nice.
Appreciate that.
And it looks like you've been having some pretty good success with this thing running 570.
So far, knock on wood, we can keep doing what we wanted to do, and the Ford will keep moving us on.
Hell yeah. How do you feel about a Ford in a land of Cummins?
We are the last, that's for sure. I hope we're the first pioneer, but we need some more buddies to show up and give us a hand.
Oh, hell yeah. Were you about to go into semifinals?
Yep, we're taking on Brett.
So what's your game plan there?
Knock the tree down and run it out the back.
There you go. Good luck, brother.
So, appreciate it.
Red light hands the win to Skyler for his 561 and 8 breakout. off early, but then out of it before the stride goes to a 582 forward, 89 miles an hour right.
It was absolutely ugly. We're fighting some issues, but we forced it down the track. I didn't know he wasn't making the lick, so all I wanted to do was chop the tree on him. We did that and drove away. I didn't know he didn't make the pass. They was happy till it wasn't. I mean, it felt great to the 330. At 330, it laid down and started cackling and popping, and so I just went clean neutral through the parachutes and let it roll. I mean, still went a 5.0, you know, letting out of probably 400 feet, 500 feet, somewhere around there. First class win of the new class. It's looking promising, but I know he's going to figure his truck out. Like, his truck is definitely faster than mine at this point. So,
But you've made some changes in the off season to kind of.
we've made some big changes in the off season. The boys down at Firepunk help us a lot, along with Jeremy Wagler. We've got a full billet Wagler engine now with water air intercooler and some other little minor things, nothing crazy. The truck lost a decent amount of weight. Now we're just trying to figure out getting it happy. So we got to figure out what our drop-in cylinder issue is. So, I mean, that pass was on 4 cylinders. Figure it out from there.
Yeah, and the thing is, and I think people would be surprised that like going from a regular Cummins to a billet Cummins, like it's not just the same.
Oh,
It's
no,
not,
it's a learning curve for sure. Everything is different. The way you spool it, everything is completely different. We pushed to make it here just so that we could get these licks under our belt. You know, didn't expect to win by any means. Just luckily it happened that way. We wanted to come collect data so that we knew what to do going into UCC so that we can be swinging.
Gotcha. So what's the game plan for UCC?
Just racing, and if depending on what we find and where it goes from there, we're just gonna keep making steps forward.
Chipping away at it.
Yeah, I mean, that tune-up should have won a 460, so.
Do you feel good about the progress you've made so far? Like, do you
I feel
some?
great about the progress we've made. As a team, we are learning the new setup, what makes it happy. You know, Levon Wizard things on a computer, and very soon it's going to be very fast. So
I heard some good things that it showed great promise on the dyno.
yeah, it shows it's playing happier than it did last year. You know, with rail control and stuff like that, constantly just making a little bit of progress. So as long as we can keep moving in the right direction, we'll be all right.
Do you have an AT goal in mind, or just as fast as you can go?
430s or faster is the goal. Oh, yeah. We want to bury the four-wheel drive diesel record.
Like, yeah, well, congratulations. And
thanks, man. Appreciate it.
We'll catch up with you at UCC, see how it goes.
Yes, sir.